What's funny?
I'm not 60 yet.
Are you 60 yet?
No.
Are you in your 60th year?
Oh, I am?
Even after leaving Hollywood, Goldie Hawn has lived a life full of memories that still raise questions. She is known for her happy image and long career, but behind that success were private feelings she rarely talked about. In her retirement years, new attention has turned to her past relationships and the emotions she once carried. Reports suggest there may be one man she never fully forgot, even after many years passed. What really happened in those early relationships, and why does this person still seem to matter so much in her life today? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. Goldie Hawn, named the one man she never got over. Goldie Hawn became one of the most recognizable women in Hollywood because she had something special that audiences could instantly feel. She had beauty, humor, charm, and a kind of bright energy that made people smile the moment she appeared on screen. For years, millions of people saw her as the cheerful blonde actress who made life seem lighter and happier. She became famous for making people laugh, but behind her public image was a woman whose personal life was often filled with pain, change, and emotional searching. Goldie was born in Washington, D.C., and raised in Tacoma Park, Maryland. She grew up in a home where creativity played an important role. Her mother taught dance and also worked in jewelry, while her father was a musician and conductor. Because of this, Goldie was surrounded by music, movement, and discipline from a very young age. She began dancing when she was only 3 years old, studying ballet and tap with serious focus. Long before she became a movie star, Goldie was already learning how to perform, how to express emotion, and how to command attention. As she grew older, Goldie's love for performance became stronger. By the age of 10, she was dancing in The Nutcracker with the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo, an impressive achievement for someone so young. She continued building her skills through stage work, acting, and dance instruction. She even ran her own ballet school before fully entering Hollywood. Although she studied drama in college for a short time, Goldie's ambitions pushed her toward professional entertainment before graduation. Her rise to fame was not slow for long. In 1968, Goldie became a breakout star on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. Her bubbly personality, comic timing, and unforgettable screen presence made her instantly popular. She was not just another actress, she became a sensation. Her television success quickly opened the door to major film opportunities. In 1969, Goldie's career changed forever when she starred in Cactus Flower. Her performance earned her an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. It was a major achievement and proved that Goldie was much more than a funny television personality. She was a serious talent. Over the years, she built a remarkable career through films such as Butterflies Are Free, Shampoo, Foul Play, Seems Like Old Times, Overboard, and Private Benjamin. Her role in Private Benjamin earned another Oscar nomination and showed that she could balance comedy, intelligence, and emotional depth. But while Goldie's career looked glamorous from the outside, her love life was much more difficult. Her first marriage was to dancer and actor Gus Triconis in 1969. Goldie reportedly fell deeply in love and believed in the relationship wholeheartedly. As Goldie became a major star, the relationship reportedly struggled under growing differences. Emotional distance developed, and eventually their marriage ended. They separated in 1973 and later divorced. Goldie then married musician and actor Bill Hudson in 1976. Together, they had 2 children, Oliver and Kate Hudson. For a time, this marriage may have seemed like Goldie's second chance at building a stable family life. But once again, deep differences emerged. The marriage became painful and complicated, eventually ending in divorce in 1980. Public criticism followed, and Goldie faced more emotional disappointment. Goldie first met the man she never got over, Kurt Russell, in 1966, while filming The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band. At that time, Goldie was older, Kurt was still a teenager, and romance did not develop. They went their separate ways, and life moved on. But sometimes, the right person appears at the wrong time, only to return later when everything finally makes sense. In 1983, Goldie and Kurt reunited while working on Swing Shift. This meeting would become one of the most important turning points in Goldie's life. Kurt's first words to her were bold and playful, and instead of awkwardness, they created laughter. Their chemistry was immediate. Their first date became unforgettable. They danced, laughed, and ended up breaking into Goldie's new house because she did not yet have her keys. The night even involved the police showing up. It was chaotic, funny, and far from ordinary, but somehow it fit them perfectly. More important than the excitement was what Goldie saw in Kurt afterward. He was honest, he was natural, he was confident without pretending. But what touched Goldie most deeply was the way Kurt treated her children. After all her past disappointments, seeing a man who genuinely cared for Kate and Oliver meant everything. This was not just romance. This felt like safety. Goldie had already known fame, heartbreak, and disappointment. But with Kurt, she found something different: trust, friendship, laughter, and emotional peace. Their relationship quickly grew into something stronger than attraction. It became a partnership rooted in family and choice. In Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn finally found the love that seemed to arrive not when life was easy, but when she was finally ready to recognize what real love truly looked like. After finally finding the kind of love and stability that had long seemed out of reach, one question stands out. How did Goldie Hawn continue balancing her massive Hollywood success, motherhood, personal reinvention, and the extraordinary family legacy she was still building beyond the spotlight? Stay tuned for more. Family legacy and the lasting life she built beyond heartbreak. Long before her long relationship with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell became one of Hollywood's most talked-about partnerships, Goldie had already built a name for herself as one of the most popular and well-known actresses of her time. Her story wasn't only about love or personal ups and downs, it was also about real talent, strong ambition, and the ability to keep growing and changing without losing herself along the way. From early on, Goldie had something special as a performer. She had great timing when it came to comedy, a natural charm, and a way of moving and expressing herself that made people notice her right away on television. She didn't feel like someone was trying too hard. She felt natural and easy to watch. People quickly warmed up to her. She wasn't just another face on TV, she became someone audiences really liked and looked forward to seeing. Over time, she moved from being a TV favorite to a national star. People didn't just recognize her, they connected with her. She felt real, approachable, and full of life. That success on television soon opened doors for her in film. She starred in films like There's a Girl in My Soup, Butterflies Are Free, Shampoo, Foul Play, Seems Like Old Times, and Private Benjamin. Each of these roles showed a different side of her. Sometimes she was funny and light. Other times she showed more serious emotion. She could switch between charm, emotion, and strength without losing her natural feel. Private Benjamin was a big turning point for her. The film earned her another Academy Award nomination and proved she could lead a major movie, not just as a comic actress, but also in a role that had emotional depth. It confirmed what many already believed about her talent. Her career didn't slow down after that. She went on to star in more well-known films like Overboard, Death Becomes Her, and The First Wives Club. Each movie added something to her reputation. She wasn't just part of Hollywood at that time, she helped define it in her own way. She became known as more than an actress. She was a personality people remembered. One of the most important parts of her life became motherhood. After having Oliver and Kate Hudson during her marriage to Bill Hudson, she had to learn how to balance being a rising Hollywood star with being a present mother. That balance was not easy, especially with public attention and emotional struggles linked to her divorce. Later, when Kurt Russell became a steady part of her life, things changed in a meaningful way. Together, they built a blended family that became very important to her happiness. Kurt's son Boston became part of their family life, and in 1986, they had their son Wyatt Russell. Over time, this family grew even more, and it became one of the strongest and most meaningful parts of her world. One of the key things people noticed about Goldie and Kurt's relationship wasn't just their romance. It was the way they built a stable home life together. As the years passed, her focus slowly expanded beyond acting and raising children. She also became a grandmother. Her children grew up, built their own lives, and found success, especially Kate Hudson, who followed a path into acting. Seeing her children grow and succeed became a big source of pride for her. Over time, Goldie and Kurt also became grandparents to several grandchildren, and they embraced this stage of life with a lot of joy. On the professional side, Goldie and Kurt also shared the screen in ways fans loved. Their film Overboard in 1987 showed their natural chemistry in a fun and believable way. Many years later, they came back together in The Christmas Chronicles and its sequel, which introduced their partnership to a younger generation. People enjoyed seeing that their connection still felt strong even after so many years. In 2017, they both received stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame side by side. That moment wasn't just about career success. In the end, Goldie Hawn's life is not just about fame or relationships. It is about a woman who built a career from the ground up, faced challenges, experienced heartbreak, raised a family, and still kept moving forward. She didn't try to make a perfect life. She built a real one, full of learning, change, and growth. She didn't just make people laugh on screen. She showed that life can have setbacks, but you can still keep going and find joy again. Her story is really about growing through everything life brings and still choosing happiness in the end. Before Goldie learned to protect her peace, what early Hollywood experiences first showed her the hidden struggles behind her success and smile? Let's delve deeper. Goldie Hawn's hidden struggles behind Hollywood's brightest smile. For many years, Goldie Hawn was seen as one of Hollywood's happiest and most lovable stars. To millions of fans around the world, she was the woman with the glowing smile, the infectious laugh, and the playful energy that could light up any screen. She seemed to represent joy itself. Whether she was making audiences laugh in comedies or charming them with her warm personality, Goldie appeared to be living a dream life filled with success, admiration, and happiness. But behind that famous smile, there were stories that painted a far more painful picture. Goldie's public image was carefully tied to positivity. She was often described as America's sweetheart, a woman who brought lightness to Hollywood. Yet beneath that polished image, there were claims that her private emotional life was much more complicated. She reportedly struggled with fear, panic attacks, and moments of deep discomfort, even while the world viewed her as carefree and joyful. This contrast between public happiness and private pain became one of the more haunting aspects of her story. As Goldie rose to fame, she entered a Hollywood system filled not only with opportunity, but also with ego, power struggles, and difficult personalities. The entertainment world could be glamorous, but it could also be deeply harsh, especially for women trying to maintain both dignity and independence in male-dominated spaces. According to the narrative surrounding some of Goldie's experiences, several professional encounters with powerful men left emotional scars that she quietly carried for years. One of the most talked-about alleged experiences involved comedian Bill Murray. Murray was known publicly for his unpredictable personality and unconventional humor, but Goldie's reported experience with him was far from amusing. During what was supposed to be a professional table read for a comedy project, Murray allegedly arrived late, chaotic, and dismissive. Rather than creating a collaborative atmosphere, he reportedly disrupted the room with arrogance. Goldie, known for her professionalism and warmth, was said to have delivered her work with confidence until Murray interrupted with a mocking comment about her acting abilities. For Goldie, this moment was reportedly not just embarrassing, it was humiliating. Public disrespect in a room full of industry figures could feel devastating, especially for a woman already fighting to be taken seriously beyond her cheerful image. Rather than argue or create a dramatic scene, Goldie reportedly made a different choice. She quietly stood up, closed her script, and walked away. This response would later become symbolic of how Goldie allegedly handled many painful situations. not through public warfare, but through silence and distance. Another alleged source of emotional pain came from Warren Beatty. Beatty was one of Hollywood's most powerful and influential men, known for both his success and personal charm. According to this account, Goldie's refusal to engage romantically with him may have created quiet professional consequences. Rather than explosive public drama, the alleged issue was more subtle: closed doors, vanished opportunities, and whispers that she was difficult. In industries built on relationships and influence, such labels could be incredibly damaging. What made this alleged situation especially painful was not open confrontation, but quiet retaliation. Goldie reportedly believed that rejection should never have required punishment, yet this experience may have reinforced how dangerous power imbalances in Hollywood could be. Then there was Dustin Hoffman, another respected actor whose alleged treatment reportedly left Goldie deeply disappointed. Goldie was said to have been pursuing more serious dramatic opportunities, hoping to prove she was more than comedy. But during an audition, Hoffman allegedly criticized her performance harshly in front of decision-makers, reducing her work to sitcom-level acting. For Goldie, this reportedly struck at something deeper than professional criticism. It challenged her credibility. Again, she reportedly chose withdrawal over confrontation. These stories, whether fully accurate or shaped by narrative exaggeration, reflect a larger theme in Goldie's image: a woman who may have faced repeated moments of dismissal while trying to protect herself in a demanding industry. The alleged tension with Chevy Chase added another layer. Though foul play became a success, the reported behind-the-scenes dynamic suggested competition, arrogance, and emotional exhaustion rather than easy chemistry. What stands out most in these stories is Goldie's pattern. Rather than publicly expose, shame, or retaliate, she allegedly stepped away. She protected her peace by refusing future collaborations, declining invitations, or emotionally disengaging. This silence was powerful. In an industry often fueled by scandal, Goldie's reported choices suggested that sometimes the strongest statement is simply walking away. She did not need every battle to become public. She appeared to understand that preserving dignity could sometimes matter more than winning arguments. Chapter after chapter of Goldie's life has often been told through glamour, success, and romance. But these accounts suggest another truth may also exist. Beneath the fame was a woman learning how to survive Hollywood without losing herself. Her smile may have made the world believe in joy, but behind that smile may have been something even more powerful: resilience. After enduring those painful encounters and learning that fame could not shield her from disrespect, how did Goldie Hawn transform silence into strength and build the powerful boundaries that would define her later life? Let's find out. Silent boundaries, public respect, and the strength she built by walking away. As Goldie Hawn's career continued, her life in Hollywood became about far more than movie roles, red carpets, and public applause. Beneath the bright lights and glamorous image was a woman who was reportedly learning one of the hardest lessons fame can teach: success does not protect you from disrespect. In many ways, Goldie's later years were shaped not just by the joy she brought audiences, but by the boundaries she allegedly built to protect herself from people and environments that threatened her peace. One of the more painful alleged public moments came years later with Sean Penn. By this stage, Goldie was not a rising star trying to prove herself. She was already an Academy Award winner, a respected actress, a producer, and a woman who had spent decades in entertainment. She had earned her place. Yet, according to the narrative, even after all her accomplishments, she still found herself being reduced by some to the same shallow stereotypes she had fought against for years. At a charity event centered around mental health, Goldie reportedly delivered a heartfelt speech on a topic she genuinely cared about. Mental wellness was deeply personal to her, particularly because of her own reported emotional struggles. But instead of receiving full respect, she was allegedly mocked publicly by Sean Penn, who dismissed her message with a cutting remark that reduced her intelligence and advocacy to little more than superficial celebrity behavior. What made this alleged moment especially painful was not simply the insult itself, it was what it represented. Goldie had spent a lifetime building depth beyond her giggling blonde stereotype. Yet, according to this account, she was still being pushed back into it. But once again, Goldie reportedly did not explode publicly. She did not create a scandal. She did not launch an attack. She reportedly smiled, left, and quietly drew a permanent line. This pattern had become central to her strength. Goldie's silence was no longer avoidable. It had become a decision. She seemed to understand that not every insult deserved her energy, and not every person deserved continued access to her presence. Then came another reportedly difficult experience involving Kirk Douglas, one of old Hollywood's most legendary figures. Unlike the more openly humiliating stories, this one was allegedly rooted in something subtler but equally painful: condescension. During a public panel, Douglas reportedly focused more on Goldie's appearance than her achievements and repeatedly interrupted her contributions. For Goldie, who had spent years proving her intelligence, versatility, and talent, this alleged behavior may have symbolized a larger problem many women in Hollywood faced: being admired but not always respected. There is a profound difference between being celebrated for charm and being respected for substance. Goldie had both, but according to this narrative, some men still chose to treat her as though her beauty mattered more than her brilliance. This alleged moment with Douglas reportedly stayed with her because it represented something larger than one conversation. It reflected a culture in which women, even successful women, could still be diminished by outdated attitudes. Yet, through all these alleged experiences, Goldie's response remained remarkably consistent. She walked away. This became one of the defining patterns of her reported Hollywood survival story. She did not waste years publicly feuding. She did not center her life around revenge. Instead, she created distance. She chose not to return to spaces that made her feel small. She declined future collaborations. She reportedly avoided certain events. She protected her emotional health by understanding that access to her was a privilege, not a right. This approach may not have created explosive headlines, but it may have been far more powerful. In a world where public drama often becomes spectacle, Goldie's alleged silence suggested self-preservation. She seemed to recognize that peace sometimes requires stepping back rather than fighting harder. Over time, this approach likely helped shape her lasting public image. While others became consumed by bitterness, scandal, or endless public battles, Goldie largely maintained grace. She continued focusing on family, purpose, and selective work. She became increasingly associated not just with laughter, but with wisdom. Her life beyond these alleged conflicts also reflected this evolution. Goldie became deeply invested in mental health advocacy and personal growth, using her experiences to help others. Rather than allowing difficult industry encounters to define her, she appeared to channel her energy into creating meaning beyond Hollywood politics. This may be one of the most important aspects of her story. Goldie Hawn's legacy is not only about being a comedic icon or beloved actress, it is also about the image of a woman who may have endured humiliation, dismissal, and disrespect, yet chose not to let those experiences destroy her spirit. She reportedly learned that power does not always come from confrontation. Sometimes power is saying no more. Sometimes power is leaving. Sometimes power is refusing to explain why someone no longer has access to you. For a woman whose smile once convinced the world she was untouched by pain, the deeper truth may be far more inspiring. Goldie's greatest strength may not have been her ability to make people laugh. It may have been her ability to protect herself when the laughter stopped. In the end, her story becomes larger than Hollywood. It becomes a story about boundaries, dignity, and survival. Goldie Hawn may have been seen as sunshine, but according to this portrayal, sunshine does not mean weakness. After building a long-lasting relationship without marriage, what shaped their belief in independence and daily commitment? Let's find out. Independence, commitment, and lasting partnership. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell have one of the most unusual long-term relationships in Hollywood. They have been together for more than 40 years, which is something you almost never see in the entertainment world. In a place where relationships often break apart because of pressure, busy schedules, and constant public attention, Theirs has stayed steady for a very long time. What makes their story even more interesting is simple. Even after all these years, they never got married. That choice alone has made a lot of people curious. Fans often wonder how their relationship works without a wedding, and what keeps it strong when so many others around them have not lasted. One of the biggest reasons their relationship has worked is because they both value independence. They believe that even when two people are together, each person should still feel like themselves. They think it is important to wake up every day and choose the relationship, instead of feeling like it is locked in by law or pressure. For them, love works best when it feels like a daily choice, not an obligation. At the same time, independence does not mean distance for them. It is more about balance. They support each other's lives while still keeping their own identity. They grow as individuals but still stay connected as a couple. That balance has helped them avoid a lot of the problems that often break couples apart. Another reason they chose not to marry comes from their past. Both of them had been married before, and those relationships did not last. Those experiences taught them a lot. They saw how marriage can sometimes bring stress, legal issues, and emotional pain when things go wrong. They also saw how divorce can deeply affect children and families. Because of that, they decided that marriage was not something they needed again. Instead, they focused on something simpler and more personal. Trust, respect, care, and showing up for each other every day became the base of their relationship. For them, love does not need a wedding certificate to be real. It is more about how two people treat each other over time. Even though many people questioned their decision, they stayed firm. Over the years, they were often asked why they never got married. The media and public kept bringing it up, as if something was missing, but they did not let that pressure change their path. Even their children did not see marriage as something required for their family to feel complete. That gave them more confidence that they were doing what made sense for them, not for everyone else watching. A big part of their relationship also comes from what they learned through life experience. Their past relationships taught them that respect, space, and understanding are very important. They used those lessons to build something stronger together. They learned how to give each other breathing room when needed, and how to support each other's personal goals instead of blocking them. Over time, this helped their relationship stay stable. Instead of constant conflict, they built a rhythm that worked for both of them. It is not perfect, but it is steady. And that steady balance is what has carried them through decades. As the years passed, their relationship became something people look at as different from the usual Hollywood story. It is not based on traditional rules. It does not follow the usual script, but it has lasted. And in many ways, that is what makes it stand out even more. After seeing how his life with constant public attention and personal struggles began to take shape, what events and choices truly pushed Kurt Russell toward a quieter, more private way of living? Let's learn more. Kurt Russell, a life shaped by loss, resilience, and quiet stability. This report explains the life and career of Kurt Russell in a simple and direct way, focusing on his early experiences, personal losses, career pressure, and later life choices. Kurt Russell grew up in a family connected to entertainment, and his father played an important role in guiding him. From a young age, he was involved in both acting and baseball. Baseball was very important to him because it gave him a normal life outside Hollywood and helped him stay focused and disciplined while growing up in a public environment. When he was in his early 20s, his dream of becoming a professional baseball player ended after a serious shoulder injury. The injury permanently damaged his ability to continue playing. This forced him to leave sports and focus fully on acting, even though it was not his original long-term plan. Around the same period, he also lost an important mentor figure, Walt Disney, who had supported his early acting career. These early events made him grow up quickly and learn how to handle life without strong guidance. As his acting career continued through the 80s and 90s, Russell became more successful but also faced heavy pressure. Film work often required long schedules and intense focus, which led to stress and exhaustion. At times, he felt overwhelmed by the demands of the industry. Over time, he began to slow down and choose his roles more carefully instead of taking on constant work. In later years, Russell and his family faced serious privacy and safety problems. Their home was broken into twice within a short period. These incidents made them feel unsafe and led to stronger security measures and a decision to move away from Los Angeles to a quieter place. These experiences changed how he viewed fame and public life. Russell also chose a more private lifestyle as he got older. Instead of staying in the spotlight, he focused on family, peace, and meaningful work. What do you think about the relationship between Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for staying with us as we explored the life and journey of Goldie Hawn. If this deep dive into his real story kept you engaged, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video on your screen for more stories. See you there.